We're live.
Live.
Hey, what's going on, Soapboxx family? We are going to be live in just a few moments. So make sure you share this feed with your friends, family, and all that good stuff. We'll be talking about some hot topics today, things that's going on in the news. So bear with us as we share this video as we go live.
All right, let's see.
We will be here on. Let's go. Share and group. Going on in the news, so bear with us as
We sharing it.
Okay.
Yes, for those who are joining us, welcome. This is our live show on Thursdays, so we'll be here talking hot topics. We're glad to connect with you, Soapboxx Nation. All right. Live. All right, I'm all shared up.
I think I'm all shared up.
I shared as well.
All right.
Also,
we are climbing in the ratings as more and more people start to file in. Let me do a start video.
Let me see. It's on my page.
All right, I'm all set. I think.
As we continue to share. Make sure, and if you are a viewer, Soapboxx Nation, make sure you share as well. Let us know what you think. Share video. All right. As we talk about these issues, talk about what's going on in the world, all that good stuff. All right. Good to go, folks. All right. All hearts and minds are clear.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. Welcome to the Soapboxx Podcast. I am your host, TJ Legacy, and I am proud to be joined with my illustrious co-host here that's been rocking with me. We are on episode 30, the Asterisk. So joined by my man all the way from NYC, my man, Alan York. What's good, Alan?
what's up? Peace, y'all. Welcome back. It's good to see everybody. It's good to see everybody's faces. We ready to rock and roll tonight. Hello, Facebook.
Whoa, what's good? Also, we have all the way from Boston, Brockton, New York, Carmen Sandiego herself. What's up, Miss Jesse?
What's poppin'?
What's good, Jesse? What's good? And Ish, our co-host, Ish, all the way from Duval County, Jacksonville. What's good, Ish? How you doing? How you feeling?
Hey, everybody. I am doing well. Hope you are too.
Yes. So we are recording this episode. We're also live. So we want to make sure that we can interact with you, Soapboxx Nation. That's what we affectionately call our listeners, our subscribers. Before we start, I'm going to go around the horn and make sure everyone properly introduce themselves, tell you a little bit about themselves for those who are not familiar with the podcast. But before we do that, I do want to thank our listeners in not only the United States, listeners in California, our listeners in Portugal, our listeners in the UK, our listeners all over international. Check us out. We're on Spotify. We're on Stitcher. We are on SoundCloud. And make sure if you see the link, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Yes, our YouTube channel, the Soapboxx Podcast, Soapboxx with 2X. I'm gonna start it off just to give you a little background on me. TJ Legacy. I'm a guest contributor here. I'm a freelance journalist, guest contributor to the Orlando Sentinel. Also a part of the Central Florida 100, which is the most influential people in politics, government, and culture here in Central Florida. People probably know me most as a community activist. So I took, after being an activist for so many years, I really wanted to get into the media space so that I can disseminate information, provide a service, speak the truth to power, and really make sure that we connect with our audience on a different type of level. So we have developed this media outlet called the Soapboxx. This is my baby, and these are the people that have rocked with me for a long time, so that we can make this happen, and so that we can bring the news to you, and talk about things that everybody may not necessarily talk about, things in a different way that everybody may not necessarily discuss. So that's me and what we do. I'm also a part of the Central Florida Association of Black Journalists. We are all freelance journalists here, bringing it to you live. So Jesse, tell them a little bit about yourself.
I'm just a simple girl. There's nothing really, much to tell. I don't I've mentioned in the past, I don't really know who I am, so can't really tell you, but you guys figure it out. Right?
Okay, do I have to do the Flavor Flav hype man? Okay, I'll do it since Jess don't want it. I was gonna say just like Jesse is on YouTube. She's a rising superstar. She's on Instagram. You can catch her thirst trapping Monday through Friday on Instagram. But she's hella funny. She's hella creative. She's a content creator. And so we're blessed to have Jesse to be a part of this and bring the news to you. And we have started off as a guest contributor all the way up in Boston, which is my hometown. And so yes, that's Jesse. She's doing everybody. I hope everybody's not being fake humble today, because y'all gonna show your true colors eventually. So, but anyway, but yes, that's Jesse. And she hosts, she does comedy shows, all that good stuff. So keep up with Jesse. Alan York, go ahead, man. Speak on it.
My name is Alan York. I am a visual artist. I release music videos every single week, every single Monday on my website and on Instagram and Twitter. I'm an MC. I am a ginger ale connoisseur. I am a part-time sex symbol. And I really enjoy ski mask in the wintertime. And I'm just happy to kick it with the people, man. I'm a man of many hats. But very seldomly is it a fedora. I leave that to my man TJ. So I'm just, like I said, a content creator as well. So, y'all can go to the website, thealanyork.com. And we're just out here to kick it with the people, man.
Word. And you said a part-time sex symbol.
Part-time, sometimes I wake up and it's crust there, it's right on the lip. So I don't want to, I don't shoot 100% from the field, but
Yo, well, speaking as the full-time sex symbol that doesn't get any benefits, so it's a tough life out here. But
hey, work smarter, not harder. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. Ish, let them know. Talk that talk. Let them know about you.
Okay, I go by Ishna Y'Keal on social media. I'm a writer. My most recent work is called The Deprivation of a Father's Love. It's in a book called Daddy, Reflection of Father-Daughter Relationships. It's a bunch of women. We talk about our relationship with our fathers. Google me. You're going to have to put in Ishna Hagan, Hagan, to bring that up. I also write music reviews for fun. I'm very analytical. So that's what I contribute to the podcast, a very deep thinker. And yeah, I'm here to have fun and make great conversation.
Word. All right. So starting off, so this week in the news, right? we've had a lot of, and I have a theory. I've always had a theory saying that no matter how successful you are as a person, or even mostly celebrities, and particularly Black celebrities, there's always an asterisk. Okay, an asterisk, for those who don't know, it's an annotation. So I like to call it as, okay, he's great, but she's great, but you'll always find people in your life that will sit there and try to put an asterisk on the things that you accomplished in order to diminish your legacy or your value. So this week, or we also have people put in an asterisk to try to elevate people that don't necessarily need to be elevated, right? So, Ish, you got our first story of the week. What's going on with Gayle King and her trashing Kobe?
So she sat down with Lisa Leslie, which we all know is, a former WNBA player. And she talked about her Lisa's relationship with Kobe, and essentially she asked Lisa, did she believe his rape accusations from 2003 affect his legacy? Like, did it diminish it or do anything negative to affect it? And so Lisa kind of like, she kind of like kept it clean and didn't do anything to damage what he has accomplished. And we know that he just passed a week or two ago. So with that being said, a lot of people are going off on Gayle King, and we want to know, should she be canceled? And did she make a mistake to even ask that question or incorporate any information about his rape, because it was dropped as well because the witness, she wouldn't testify. So did she make a mistake? Was it disrespectful, being that he's deceased now? And should we cancel her?
Well, I'm gonna jump off straight up because Kobe is my guy. His death really hit me and a lot of African American men, a lot of people in general. Kobe was beloved around the world. But besides that, I think with Gayle, there's a lot of revisionist history, and I think that's what makes a lot of people upset about the diminishing of Kobe Bryant's legacy. Right? It's bad enough that Kobe Bryant passed away in a tragic way. But his daughter also died in a tragic way and was with him as well. Now, this is a slick way and this is why we do what we do as far as journalists. I don't have a problem with Gayle King asking that question about his sexual assault allegations, right? Now, do I like the question? No. But is she in bounds when she asked the question? Yes, she's in bounds for asking the question. What I did not like, and what is out of bounds, right, and where Gayle starts showing her true colors, is the moment after when Gayle asked the question, and then Lisa Leslie gives her answer and says it doesn't diminish his legacy, and I didn't see him in that light, and where she starts going on the offensive and saying, well, you wouldn't see it. Well, you would, as if she's basically, it's almost like leading the witness. You're trying to make it seem like Lisa Leslie, one, is an accomplice or is an enabler to his abusive behavior, and these are allegations. So why? I think we live in a day and age where the judicial system is so obsolete that the court of public opinion weighs more than what is going on actually in judicial proceedings. So you mean to tell me, as a Black man who's a celebrity, that if I am acquitted, or if I'm not even charged, or I don't even go to trial, that I am still guilty because of allegations that are unproven? And revisionist history is this girl had like a whole bunch of different semens inside of her. She also had she was bragging to her friends. Her case was crumbling before. That's why she wasn't charged, because it wasn't forcible rape. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't rape at all. He slept with her. It was consensual, but she wanted more out of the deal, and she wanted to get some paper on the come up. Let's keep it 100. And I know a lot of media outlets won't say that, but we need to get out of that. Yes, we should believe women, but we need to get out of this notion that every bat in 1,000, that every sexual assault allegation is founded in truth without looking into the evidence. So that's my issue That's my issue with Gayle's question. And it just seems like Gayle, Oprah, it seems like with this Me Too movement, everybody's targeting African American men, right? So we're just going to negate the fact that Gayle has been chilling and hanging out with Harvey Weinstein for years. For years, and it's like you never see it. He was your friend, so you didn't see anything either. So that's the problem I have with it. I think it was real slick. Gayle showed her true colors, and now Black folks alike are rinsing her ass out all over Twitter. And now she's out here splaining, talking about she's upset too because it was just a video clip. That's bullshit to me. And I think that we need to have in our society, especially specifically Black society, we need to have people that are on code, and there needs to be a checks and balances. And what's going on with Gayle right now on Twitter and in public, this is the checks and balances where we say, you're not going to continue to diminish our icons and put these asterisks on their legacy. So that's how I feel. What about you, A?
I mean, I feel I can go a couple ways with this. I think Lisa was right when, she was saying that, listen, this is a conversation that we can have, but this guy just passed away like a week ago, right? So maybe it's not a time for that. And especially thinking about how this case happened 15 years ago. Kobe has been available to the media, even more so in his retirement as of the last couple of years. If this is a discourse that you felt that passionately about, why not have this discourse directly with the gentleman? Why wait until he passes to bring all of this to light? Because for the majority of part, the people know the case. Whether you feel there's certain people that are gonna feel that he did it, regardless of what happens, there are gonna be certain people that feel that he didn't do it, regardless of what happens. So I feel like people's minds are made up, and how they're dealing with that moving forward is already something that they've processed and that they've decided. So to bring it up now, I just do think that it is a little bit tasteless, but I can understand where it's coming from. It's just the timing is a little off to me. Like I said, the court of public opinion is very harsh and is very swift. And between Gayle and Oprah, they're getting a lot of backlash because of their supposed silence with Harvey Weinstein and them going after Black men, et cetera, et cetera. But I have a question in regards to that as far as the whole cancel is concerned. I don't think Oprah or Gayle are producing content that the people who are really mad about even care to check for. So when people are talking about canceling these entities, what exactly does that look like? Is that just public outrage? Because I don't know if I'm supporting anything that's Oprah and Gayle are doing right now. And that purposely, they just don't necessarily cater to my demographic outside of probably the OWN network. So what does canceling these figures look like? I think that's also something that we have to look into, because it's a cool thing to say, but what does actually that look like?
I think as far as the whole cancel culture, I think it's a lot of times the media will dub people in our society and our culture as they're the representation of us by osmosis. They're the leaders. So Gayle has some sort of authority, and I think cancel culture is really doing it publicly, or saying this publicly, that hey, she's canceled. Really, it's like, yo, we don't fuck with her, right? So now when they have her as this designated Black woman as a proxy to be asking questions, or to be designated as someone who's has a representation of us in our culture, they'll know, no, she's not. So people, it's almost like discrediting her, like, hey, we really don't rock with her. We know her agenda. She's not she's tearing down our African American men. She's being unprofessional. It was unprofessional what she did as well, right? Mm-hmm. And for someone who like Gayle who's a seasoned journalist, she should know better. That's like, you're supposed to present what's going on, and also and get the feedback, and based in facts. So if you're telling Lisa Leslie, hey, you wouldn't know if he's a predator or whatever. Well, guess what, Gayle? You wouldn't know either. because Lisa Leslie has more authority to speak on Kobe Bryant's character than Gayle King does, because Gayle King doesn't have a personal relationship with Kobe Bryant. So she's also being hypocritical in her statement, which further proves why she pressed so hard. And this is what they do. This, as far as they have certain shields in the media that will sit there and target and attack and with reckless abandonment. And this time she got caught. Jesse, you want to speak on it real quick?
No, I agree with everything you guys are saying. I feel like it was an inappropriate time for her to ask that question, or to even question his legacy at that point by bringing that up. From what I understand, the charges, it didn't even go to trial, right?
Nope. No.
So why are you even bringing that up right now? That was the wrong time to do that. And from what I understand, they're supposed to be best friends, Leslie and Kobe. So for you to even be asking her that in the first place, Alan said, it was very tasteless and it was inappropriate, and I didn't like it. But I also agree with what he said, what are we really canceling? Because for me personally, I don't associate myself with anything that they do. I don't even know what Gayle does. And Oprah, I know her for her shows, giving out money. You get a car, you get a car, you get a car. And the OWN network, I watched a few of her stuff, the haves and have nots. But I mean, if canceling means not watching her stuff, then okay, sure, yeah. But what is that really going to do? What is that really?
And I want to, and I want to ask our listeners, when you see Oprah and you see Gayle, Oprah was supposed to be the executive producer on a documentary about Russell Simmons, right? And so she pulled out after she got heat because people were saying, hey, wait a minute, you're doing all these they just did Surviving R. Kelly. Now you're doing something on Russell Simmons, but every one of you were hanging out with this Harvey Weinstein. We see Kevin Spacey. We have a plethora of Hollywood folks that don't get the same pressure that African Americans get. And so if we're going to talk about questioning about sexual assault in the Me Too movement, are we going to talk about Allison Mack? Are we going to question Bryan Singer? Are we going to question Woody Allen? Are we going to question Steven Tyler, Ted Nugent, Rob Lowe, Mick Jagger, Matt Lauer, Charlie Rose, Louis C.K., Charlie Sheen, Kevin Spacey, even the recently deceased Martin Sheen, right? Not Martin Sheen. Kurt Douglas. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Kurt Douglas. He died, right? He passed away. He had a rape allegation in his past too. So are we going to now parade around this rape allegation? It's a way for it speaks to an old slave narrative of the tarring and the feathering of African Americans in public. It's the same thing. Whenever there's an unarmed black man or black woman or shooting, the first thing we learn about is their criminal background history. They're the victim, but then we dig up their past as far as what they did as far as their criminal background. And that's so that we can diminish who they are and their value in their eyes of the public. And so it's almost like, yeah, Kobe was a great basketball player. Yeah, Kobe was a great dad, but that's not good enough. Okay, we have to diminish his value in front of you all so that you can't. I really believe it's because they don't want people to try to aspire to be it. There's a lot of people I aspire to be like Kobe. Hashtag the girl dad. And then we have a lot of really white feminists publicly bashing Kobe Bryant in the media. We saw the one lady in the on the news on MSNBC calling them the Los Angeles Knickers or niggers, right? So it's almost for people to be the judge. I think I heard niggas, right? So this is what they do, okay? And it's not surprising, but I like the fact that we called it out. Snoop Dogg called it out and was like, yo, that's trash. 50 Cent called it out. Because it's becoming so blatantly obvious. And when it comes so blatantly obvious, we need to say, hey, everybody should be on the same playing field, right? Because if everyone is not on the same playing field when it comes to getting justice for those who are affected by the Me Too movement, sexual assault, abuse, then guess what? You're also doing a disservice to those victims as well across the board.
Mm-hmm.
So So that's my my take on the whole Gayle situation. But Jesse,
What's poppin'?
that's what I want to know. What's popping in the news?
All right, we're gonna talk about Virginia real quick, all right? So
Okay.
if you're a resident of Chesapeake, Virginia, and you didn't get your W-2s, chances are it may be stored away in a storage unit. Sounds a little weird, right? But let me explain. So this mailman, Jason De La Cruz, rented a storage unit for $49 a month to save mail that he could not deliver. So he stated that he felt pressure, and I get it, and couldn't make time to complete his mail route. 5,000 pieces of mail were recovered. And you know how he got caught? A witness saw his ass and reported him. Like, if you're gonna do that, at least, do it undercover. Okay. He was out in the open, like just doing that. Like he didn't care. All right. He said that he was gonna deliver it, but what had happened was he fell behind. So yeah, like no shit, the mail you were storing was not gonna deliver itself. Like, what did you think was gonna happen? It's gonna just keep piling up. You rented a whole storage unit. So yeah, anyways, it's clear that he was stressed. I feel that, we all have jobs, and not for nothing, but these jobs be asking us to do the most, and they don't even be paying us for half the work that we do. Okay. So my question to y'all is, how do you handle pressure, whether it's at work, whether it's in a relationship, or any aspect in your life? Or if you want to look more at work, how do you handle pressure at work, especially when you're doing more work than what you're getting paid for? Let me know.
Oh,
For me,
Ish, I'm gonna let you start off.
Yeah. So for me, I literally, if things are becoming overwhelming, I literally break down the task into steps, and I'll basically do each step one at a time. And I'm really good at ignoring people if they're not being realistic. So if we all understand that it's not going to get done in this amount of time, you can talk about whatever you want and like encourage us to move faster and hold meetings, and pump us up. But I will communicate with you, like, let's be real. This can only get done like in this amount of time. And, you can give out overtime. You can do whatever you need to do to help hire more people. But this is what I can do, like with the resources that I have. And I literally just remain calm and take it one step at a time and don't let the exterior like stress me out. Granted, they're probably stressed because someone is on their back, probably making them, push the people under them. But I literally say, y'all can have that. And I'm going to be real about what can get done right now.
That's good. Yeah, you have to have a voice. You have to speak up, because I don't do that. Once they start telling me to do things that is the most, I'm like, y'all not paying me enough for this. I'm not doing it. I will do what I can. But once you make me do something that's like above my pay grade, I'm sorry, but I'm delegating that to somebody else. Unless you're paying me to do that, my peace of mind is worth much more than what you guys are paying me.
See, this is triggering me, because as a future owner and employer, I'm now seeing how y'all gonna react in that boardroom. Talk about. I'm sitting there like, so she just gonna tell me what she not gonna do, huh? Okay, all right. But for me, trust me, when I work in these dead end jobs, man, I am notorious for that job description. Whatever that job description, that's the contract that we signed and that we agreed upon. You are going to get nothing more, nothing less. I'm going to do because a lot of these dead end jobs, they're going to pay you a little $12, $11, and they want you to go above and beyond. If I don't see that there's a career and this is just a source of income, there's a difference between a job, a career, and a source of income. And a lot of these jobs, a lot of these places, because of the way they treat folks, are just a source of income. Now, he's good, because I wouldn't have bought a storage unit. I would have made a nice little bonfire, and y'all would have never got y'all mail. Y'all would have never got that letter from that girl that's saying that she missed you and that she wants you back. You would have never got any of that mail. I would have just burnt it, and y'all would have never found out. So, if you're going to do dirt, just don't get caught like that. Alan, what about you? You ever do dirt like? I'm not trying to incriminate you. Look at me. Say that.
No.
Alan, you ever do dirt live on air? You ever do dirt and not get caught? Please confess.
I have never stolen anyone's federal letters or documentation.
Good.
And I think the fact that you're a whole month behind to where you're it's like a thing, it's like a conscious effort to pay $49 for storage. You got something wrong, fam. I mean, listen, I understand when they say sweeping something under the rug, it's like eventually the rug gonna lift up, man. And not only I'm looking at it like I'm losing $50 a month. Is this shit worth it, bro? Bring that shit right back to the post office. So whatever happens to him happens to him. I don't even feel bad. Some of y'all people do not need jobs.
You said they don't need jobs?
No, and you may need to go to jail because I probably needed something in that pile, fam.
Nah, not if you getting delivered by TJ Mail, because Legacy Mail Express, where we lose your package guaranteed. That's the only guarantee, is that we're gonna lose your package. But on Soapboxx Nation, Jess, do you have anybody on Soapboxx Nation that has a question, want to chime in?
I mean, some people are saying, like, one person said you can only do so much at work, one at a time. Respond to the priority first and slowly work your way down. Another person said asking for help is key. And that's true. Honestly, you have to speak up. If you don't speak up, then you can't assume that they're going to know that you're having a hard time. At least if you speak up, they know what's going on. And anything that happens from there, it's like, listen, I told my boss what was going on. I told them that this was unrealistic. Like, I agree with that. Like, you should speak up. That's my thing. I always speak up. I don't care. Like, because if I get in trouble at the end of the day, I told you what was up and you didn't do nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? So I agree about asking for help. I feel like that's very important. If you feel like you can't do it, then just let them know.
Again, I'm vastly concerned. I'm concerned with Jesse's defiance in the future with the with these negotiations, as I will be submitting this into our settlement court, which she tries to file a claim. I'm like, see, Your Honors, look, Your Honor, she said it right there on camera. She said she wasn't gonna be shit.
That's what we're doing.
That's hilarious. No, that's good. But speaking of ain't shit, I know that's a horrible segue for a horrible person. In my estimation, in my opinion, we got to talk about the drama between Donald Trump and Nancy Pelosi. So, as you all know, 45, Donald Trump, he has been impeached by the House of Representatives. And so the next step for the impeachment is to go to the Senate. And so we all knew it was a Democratic Hail Mary to try to see if Donald Trump can be charged with, found guilty of Article 1. And lo and behold, the Republican majority of the GOP found Donald Trump not guilty. Okay, not guilty, right? But I'm getting ahead of myself, okay? Before that happened, we had the State of the Union. How many of our listeners, Soapboxx Nation, let us know if you caught the State of the Union and what you think and what you thought. So most of it, for those who, and I'm not going to bore you with it. So Trump was basically, speaking of Oprah, Trump was basically playing minority giveaway, right? At the State of the Union. He was giving away goodies and school vouchers and medals and all these different trinkets, because right now Donald Trump knows this fact. Without the black vote, right? Without the black vote, and we'll say the Latino vote, but really the black vote, which is the engine of the Democratic Party. Without the black vote, Donald Trump will be the first impeached president to be reelected by the United States, right? In history, right? So he knows that. So he is going to do what most Democrats are used to doing in the Democratic Party, which is pandering to our base. And what way to pander to our base? by just giving away free shit. Okay. So he's going to have a lot of, and most of his speech was really a bunch of lies and a bunch of distorted facts and misdirections and, taking claim for a lot of things as far as within our economy that really are the product of Barack Obama's policies that he is now taking credit for. Because when Barack Obama was in office, all Donald Trump can do is criticize him, talk about the birth dirt, say he's not from here. All these are white supremacist dog whistles. But now that he's out of office and anything Obama has done that's great, Donald Trump is going to take credit for, and anything that is going wrong within his administration, he is going to blame the previous administration. That is his play. That's what he's going to do. That's another way of putting the asterisk on Barack Obama and his legacy. That's the whole reason why he's so gung-ho of trying to do away with affordable health care, any type of legislation that Barack Obama tried to enact while he was in office during his terms. Donald Trump is trying to tear down his legacy in a political sense. So, but the moment that everybody's talking about in the State of the Union is that after Trump was done, not only did in the beginning when she first got there, Nancy Pelosi stuck out her hand, right? And he basically was like, you impeach me, I ain't got nothing to say to you. Like he wanted nothing to do with her. So he snubbed her, right? And then afterwards, after he was done and he concluded his speech, Nancy Pelosi took his speech, or what looked like a copy of his speech, and ripped it right there on national TV. Not once, but she made sure she ripped it. She ripped it twice. Okay. My question to y'all, right? And I'm gonna start with Ishna, right? Ishna, have you ever had someone, a significant other, or somebody in your life, tell you something or talk to you, and you knew it was bullshit? Did you think that Nancy Pelosi's reaction was fair or foul?
I think it was theatrical, to be honest. Like that kind of stuff is neither here or there for me. All I want is for him to get out. Like that is what matters to me. All of the extra stuff that's getting us to that point. It's, his behavior is idiotic. I can't believe people support him, but ripping up paper doesn't get him out. You know what I'm saying? So what is important to me is get him the F up out the office. So like when she did that, it didn't mean anything to me. It's just whatever. Like someone said it's for show. It doesn't matter. It's like, what are the real steps of getting him out? That's what I want to see occur.
True. It's really about tangibles, because you're right. And that's why I tell a lot of people that politics is a lot like WWE, right? So within wrestling, in the wrestling space, you'll have on Monday Night Raw, you'll have, the good guy and the bad guy, they're arguing, or they're having promos against each other. They're hyping up a fight. But then afterwards, these guys, when they go behind the curtain, they're all friends. They're all hanging out. They're all chilling. There's a lot of these Hollywood, I think Ricky Gervais, who was the host of the Golden Globes, he made a joke, was like, listen, all of these people who are these pedophiles or these sick people within Hollywood, you guys are they're all your friends. So now you're acting in public like, oh my goodness, this is so horrible, but you all hang out together. And so all these Democrats and Republicans all hang out together, and they're in a lot of times it's the two wings of the same bird. You see what I'm saying? So but yeah, I thought Nancy Pelosi ripping it up, I think it was symbolic, but like you said, symbolic victories won't get it done, because I'm telling you, if you think Trump is bad now, if he gets reelected and there's nothing the Democratic Party can do, they can't stop him, they can't do anything. He's going to have some more Supreme Court justice picks. He's really going to make sure that he leaves his mark and subjugate a lot of folks, in particularly those within the African American community. We've been catching hell with either party. That's the whole difference. That's why the black vote is so important, because whether it's Democrat or Republican, we've still been catching hell. You see what I'm saying? So now that Donald Trump means that he's just going to treat everybody else like black folks, and that's what they don't want. And that's why they're like, okay, we need to get out to vote. But you're not going to have, You're not going to get the black vote if they don't address our issues and have some tangible results. It's just not going to happen. What say you, Alan? What you think?
Yeah, I thought it definitely makes for it's definitely symbolic. It makes for a good JPEG. It makes for a good moment. Honestly, this fool is going to continue to run amok for the next 4 years. As of right now, the way that it's looking, everybody's going to beat each other up on the Democratic side. As at least that's what it's looking like right now. So, but like I said, it's symbolic. It's a good JPEG, but I'm kind of just ready to get to November at this point. So, it's cool, it's cute, and to be completely honest, Nancy Pelosi has been the one person who literally just came around on impeaching him. When many people within the party from the first year he was president in 2017 said that we need to start taking action to get this guy removed. He's not stable. Her position has always been impeachment is not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. So for her to come around 4 years later at the end of a term, I really don't care too much for her position on this specific issue, because I remember how hell-bent she was on not going through with impeachment for 2.5 years. So, this is all XFL at this point. So who cares?
Just say you want to speak on it. I know Trump. I know you just say can't stand Trump. I know that, but what do you think about?
I'm glad she did that.
Okay.
Whether it was for whatever reason she did it for, she did it. I would have did the same exact thing. Whether she didn't want to impeach him in the beginning and she does now, she still did that. And I like her for doing that, because that's something that I would do. Seriously. And you asked the question.
You see this?
Go ahead.
You see, I saw Ishna laughing because she's just like, look, just say look, she don't know how to act in a corporate setting. She just I saw Ishna look at her like, damn, this girl got anger issues.
Those are not my words or my thoughts.
No, I'm joking. Go ahead, just say. Go ahead, just.
No, I was happy to see that. Like, that just made me happy. That made me happy, because I'm fed up with this dude, just for lack of a better word. And that's it. That's all I have to say. You know how I feel about politics. I hate it. Donald Trump is not my cup of tea. But I don't know much about whatever's going on. I just know that they were fighting for him to get impeached. But me, I always knew. I said it. I was like, they're not going to impeach him. Like, I knew that was not going to happen. And I just like the way she did that. That was like a boss move. That it was like, nigga, shut the fuck up. Like, we not listening to you. Okay. That's it. That's all I have to say. I hate politics with a passion.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I think a lot of, and I think and that's important for you to say, because there's a lot of people who feel that way about politics. They feel disingenuous because they feel like, okay, these, with the theatrics that people say that they have on camera in the media, but what are they actually doing for our community? So a lot of it discourages people, because they're like, yo, I'm not going to vote because this is how you guys this is how you guys operate. You're not really speaking on the people's issues, but you're going to do all these symbolic victories and think that it's actually going to do something. Something that Trump also did during the State of the Union is that he had his porn star wife, Melania Trump. He had her give Rush Limbaugh, racist Rush Limbaugh, right? Okay, for those who aren't familiar with who Rush Limbaugh is, think about Tom Joyner, okay? Tom Joyner is beloved by the African-American community. He is the white version of the white racist version of Tom Joyner. So he's been on the radio for a long time, and he's been on code. He's been throwing out, white supremacist dog whistles, there's one time we say he's talking in black dialect with that yo stuff, and saying all sorts of, especially when Obama was in office, he always had something racist or slick to Obama. But now Rush Limbaugh has stage 4 cancer. And I know Kobe Bryant just died, and we said, oh, we should not talk about and people who said Kobe with his allegations and stuff like that. This is different. I know this is gonna sound. I don't give a damn. I can't care. I can't care about Rush Limbaugh in his state, because Rush Limbaugh, I think, is a dangerous man, right? He's a dangerous man because this media and this microphone is a very important tool. It's powerful, and all he did was spew venom on the mic. He's with his anti-black racism, and so now that he's throwing his anti-black racism and didn't care about Eric Garner and mocked Eric Gardner for saying that he can't breathe, and that's because he obeys the law. These are things that Rush Limbaugh said. So now you want me to give a fuck about Rush Limbaugh having stage 4 cancer? I'll just say this: anybody who has cancer, I hope that they get the treatment that they need. But as far as the outcome of Rush Limbaugh and his fight with cancer, I really don't care. I know that's not a popular thing to say. It may seem heartless, but no, you can't spew venom. Like, I'm not going to pray or say get well or have these pleasantries for someone who's basically a Nazi. And so that's why Trump honored him at the State of the Union, because he held, and that's, look about the people that they gave the Medal of Freedom to, right? Prestigious people. And so giving it to Rush Limbaugh is an award because Rush Limbaugh, for his life, maintained the status quo of white supremacy. And so you want me to care about this guy and his stage 4 cancer or him being honored? No, because guess what? That medal ain't gonna mean shit in about a few months, up to a year. So that's how I speak, how I feel about that. Let's see. We have someone on Soapboxx Nation, Chris Batista. He said, found not guilty, not surprised at all. This whole impeachment was just a smoke screen / distraction for something bigger than that's going on that they're not giving much energy to. He says, I mean that at the end of his term, they're not going to go through with the whole impeachment. Yeah, so there was a lot of folks that didn't care, didn't feel like Donald Trump was really going to be impeached. But as it stands now, here we have it now. Here's the momentum. So he had his State of the Union, big bag of lies. Now we have the Nancy Pelosi theatrics with ripping up his speech. The next day, he's acquitted by the Senate. So now to Trumpers and he's giving away stuff to African Americans, showing his hand like, hey, I'm going after the black vote so that I can try to convince as many black folks. That's what the whole Kanye West, Candace Owens thing is about. Trying to get black celebrities or people who consider themselves black leaders to kind of curve black folks and kind of corral them into voting for a Republican or saying, hey, Donald Trump isn't that bad. You're better under Donald Trump. Okay, he's given you more than the Democratic Party has ever given you. So now we're starting to see this momentum, and especially after what happened in Iowa with that whole fiasco with the voting count and who's in and who counts and what I believe is Bernie Sanders continuously being sabotaged at every turn by the Democratic Party because they do not want this man to be the Democratic nominee for president. And so I voted for Bernie in the first primary when he ran against Hillary. My biggest turnoff with Bernie Sanders is Bernie Sanders' stance. Not his supporters, but Bernie Sanders' stance, who feel like, they want to talk slick stuff to anybody who says anything or challenges any policy with Bernie Sanders. But I honestly believe that there's a lot of Democrats who would rather see Donald Trump back in office than to vote Bernie Sanders in a general election. And so if the Democratic Party doesn't get their act together and they don't get on message and they don't engage millennials and they don't engage young folks, guess what? Trump is going to be right back in office. And that is the biggest checkmate in this whole political game if Trump gets reelected. So
okay. Shout out to my man Jeremy Felix, who also commented. He's watching the Soapbox right now. So just to kind of wrap this up, he just said that Trump wants attention, and it's insane how people that voted for him regret their decision. And he said, and this is his words, there's always a dick measuring contest with this man, and he is wild as fuck. So I think there's a general consensus as to where he stands right now, but I don't want to make this platform about Trump. What else we got? What's next on the docket?
All right, so moving on. Moving forward, we have, let's go and see what we got here. Just so for everybody who's watching, thank you again. You're watching the Soapbox Live, podcast. Make sure you follow us, Soapboxx Podcast with 2X on IG. Make sure you follow Jesse. Make sure you follow Ishna. Make sure you follow Alan York. Make sure you subscribe. Everybody do this. Everybody, yes, subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right, subscribe to our YouTube channel so that we can continue to bring you great content here on social media, and therefore we do reviews of concerts. We review, we talk about everything, right? My man Alan with the intro, and you could also listen to our podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iTunes. If you're on iTunes, make sure, please leave a 5-star review, not 4, not 3, but a 5-star review. Okay. Moving on. Celebrity Selfie. Jesse, Allen, what's going on with the beef with Nicki Minaj?
Nicki Minaj and Meek Mill. Well, let me tell you, they not really like going toe to toe right now. They're not really friends. Okay, but we already knew that. So the other day, Nicki Minaj was out with her husband, Kenneth, and they was at a store, and they ran into Meek Mill. Surprise, surprise. That's a coincidence. I feel like paparazzi kind of like did something about that, but whatever. That's a story for another day. So words were exchanged. They argued, and it was caught on video. It was all over the blogs. After the fact, Meek went and liked a picture with Nicki Minaj and her husband on, I believe it was Instagram. Nicki Minaj was not feeling that. And, I agree with her, because if he did that after the fact, he was definitely being petty, okay? So what happened after that was Nicki and Meek went on Twitter, and they was basically getting into it. Nicki posted some questionable pictures of Meek wearing some outfits that were not too cute. And she called him a clown. She basically said, "You are a clown. You do it for likes. Hashtag Twitter fingers, beat women, scared of men." She later went on Twitter and told him to move on. Meek was not feeling what she had to say. And amongst other things that he said, he did mention her little brother being a rapist. Nicki fired back and mentioned him beating up his sister and taping it, and how the alleged rapist victim's family offered Nicki Minaj $20 million to make the rape case go away. But long story short, they were going ham. They was going back and forth on Twitter, which Nicki Minaj later said that she wished she never did that. And I could relate to her. I know there's a few times where I've been on Twitter, or not even Twitter, like on Facebook, like when I was younger. And I know because I see my memories and I'll delete them because it's really embarrassing. And like I vent and I'm like, damn, like why am I venting to like Facebook? Like what it ain't your business. But like sometimes when you're in the moment, it's like temptation. You just put it out there, and yeah, you regret it, but you don't think that you're gonna regret it because you're literally in the moment. But with them being celebrities, you have to remember that you're literally like in the limelight. So there's nothing that you're gonna do on social media that's not gonna be permanent. Everybody's gonna see it. It's gonna stay there forever. But yeah, Twitter, Alan, what do you think? I know you don't really like this stuff, so what's your thoughts?
Listen, I will use this example as just a microcosm of what's going on in society, especially in relationships. So outside of Nicki and Meek, if you are on social media and you're thinking about beefing with your ex and making a spectacle, I want to let you know. Alan, this is Alan. This is the young homie talking from the heart. It's entertaining, but we don't care. Please stop. Keep that shit in your inbox. Keep it in your DMs. You're making yourself look like a fool.
We don't care.
You're giving us business that we do not need to hear. It's not gonna matter in a week. You're gonna feel terrible when you wake up in the morning, but you're still gonna have the clown makeup on your face. Please leave us alone. Keep all of this dumb shit to yourself. Both of these parties have a lot going for them. They're both dropping music this weekend. And now at this point, the music is going to be overshadowed by some shit that we shouldn't even be privy to. We do not care. Please stop. Now, I do think that it was a little bit smart, speaking of the music, that Meek said, yo, I'm not going to let my interviews be dominated by this going forward. But it's too late, bro. Unless you put that stipulation on your manager when you're going in, you already done made your bed. And I understand you're trying to do a little backtracking. Both of y'all should have thought about that because both of y'all regret it. And now you guys are the clown couple of the week. And like I said, that just doesn't go for Nicki and Meek. That goes for everybody. And like I said, I like how Meek called himself. He said, listen, I'm in the bed with my pregnant girlfriend right now, arguing with my ex. I feel like a clown. I'm going to exit. I like that self-awareness. I like when people know that they're distributing clown behavior. So wipe the makeup off.
Really
wipe
quick. What were you going to say? I'm sorry.
No, I was telling them to wipe the clown makeup off.
Okay. First of all, shout out for the usage of what'd you say, microcosm?
Yes.
Look at you with the big words. But so I agree, like they're petty. If you really want to know their age when people are acting like this, Nicki and Meek, well, Nicki especially have been in the industry for so long. She's already had drama and she's already done interviews where she's trying to clear her name. Like you would think that she would be done with that type of interaction, that type of behavior. Meek as well, he's gone and came back. They're too old. And it's like, it's your ex. If y'all don't get along, y'all don't like each other, miss me. Like when you see me, we don't need to say anything. Look, don't act out. You know what I'm saying? If it's all good, you're cool, you ended well, say what's up, keep it moving. You're both in new relationships. All that stuff shouldn't even what are you talking about? After all these years, what are you even still talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, let it go, move on. You're way too old and you have way too much to lose as far as your reputation and image of already having a history of being in drama. Like, come on, just let it go, grow up, learn from your past mistakes, as they say, and grow, keep it moving.
I know we all sitting here, we being mature and as intellectuals as we are. I know that we are all sitting here talking about, hey, it don't matter. Let it go. But I'm letting y'all know, my petty ass ain't letting go shit, okay? Listen, there's times for me, okay, where this is, okay, I don't believe that exes can be friends. I don't believe exes can be in the same vicinity. I know just say that I don't believe exes could be in the same vicinity.
That's not true.
I don't believe, see, women think that, okay? Y'all be like, oh no, we all no, them niggas is just plot. They're hovering like vultures, just hovering over you women, just waiting for you to slip up so they can slide right back in there. Fellas in Soapboxx Nation, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. But what I will say is this: when you continue to monitor, and that's what it is, there's still some feelings there. Because when you're completely healed and you're over your ex, you're done. You don't want nothing to do with them. You see what I'm saying? So that what I'm talking about in a romantic sense. You don't care who they're dating. You don't care if they're or they're posting. You're not liking their pictures, trying to be, agitate a situation. Like, you're done, right? And that's when you know that you're completely healed. So clearly, if I was the ex, I'd be like, if I was Nicki Minaj's man or whoever Meek does is dating, you can clearly see that there's some sort of energy that's still brewing there. So sure. I feel you what you're saying. We shouldn't feed into that, or we shouldn't don't feed the wolf, as they would say, right? Don't take the bait. But when someone says something real slick to you, funny story, right? This actually happened today, right? So, and I did something on social media back, you guys can Google it, find it on social media, right? Where someone said something about me and, you know, on social media. And I was like, all right, word. They basically told me when they see me, it's on site type of thing. So this individual had a news interview. And so I was like, oh, word. I know where that news interview is. So I went straight to that news interview and I was like, news interview over. Okay, we're going to address this right now. Cut right into the news interview, right? So now, there was a person who I knew, right? It was a guy who's a friend of mine, right? Or an associate who I was helping, who sat there and was like, hey, TJ, you know, TJ's file, you know, I'm disappointed, yada, yada, yada. But basically had a whole bunch of spectator shit to say about me, right? And so I was like, all right, bet. I saw this individual downtown Orlando today when I was chilling for my sister's birthday. Happy birthday, Tiff. Shout out to her on the 31st birthday. So I'm with my mother and my sister. We're walking. This guy decides to, looks at me, sees me, and extends his hand out to me. And and you know me, like anybody who knows me personally, Alan knows me, you know, keep that same energy. Your disrespect, your apology needs to be as loud as your disrespect. And I just told that nigga we ain't built the same, because that's the type of person I'm cool with people. I don't try to get in the whole beefs and everything like that, because I try not to have, you know, too much stock in what people say about me. But when it's time to go there with someone and they say something slick to you, especially on social media, it's hard. I'm not talking about trolls. I'm talking about people that know you, right? So I try to stay clear of all my exes. God rest their soul wherever they are. I don't know what's going on in their lives. They may be on this earth, they may not be, but yeah, I don't do that. Who free? Ish, you
That's
are friends
crazy.
with your exes?
Yeah, we're not necessarily like, we don't call each other and like, but we're cool enough if like something's like someone's sick, we would, you know, pay our respect. We left like all of my exes, we ended on respectful terms, like with respect for the other. And just like, hey, this didn't work, we're moving on. No one was like cheating and doing crazy stuff like where you end on bad terms. It was just like, you know, issues with chemistry or things out of our control, like as far as character. So, you know, and I like, you know, one of them I knew for like 15, 20 years. So we talked about, you know, the relationship and grew from that. So yeah, like even like dudes from high school, I'm real laid back. It ain't that serious. We don't need to argue. We can talk this out and, you know, just end on an understanding and be done.
All right. So Soapbox Nation, Ruthna Sunshine Bella, she says on Facebook, she says, exes can't be friends, period. And I'm just saying, I know a little bit about Ishna's demeanor from her being on the podcast. I would hate to get a breakup conversation from Ishna, because it would seem like I was in the principal's office. Like she would probably sit down, probably have some sage or some soft music. Like you be in there like a guidance counselor. She's in there. Now let me tell you what you did that fucked this up, but I'm gonna help you fix it. But this is where I'm gonna get off. Okay, I can no longer take this journey with you. But you're still a good person. Just don't like it's just very.
They don't let me get away. They
speak
up too. I said they speak up too. Like they don't let me get away with like it was just them in the relationship. They point out things that I could have done different. Like it's really open dialogue. We have a very mature conversation. They love me.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there. Baby, just just checking on you, seeing how you're doing. It's it's Friday. If you need something, I got you.
They don't try they don't try to come back and like hang around long enough for me to change my mind. They don't do that. People can be mature in their breakups. Like it's real. It's rare maybe, but it's real.
I agree.
But they still want to get with you.
Listen, as mature adults, if you're an adult and you're mature and you have an ex, If there's respectful boundaries, you guys can still be friends, especially if you guys have a kid, like my friend over here, Christopher said. If you guys have a kid together, then I feel like you guys can maintain a relationship, like a friendship, a healthy friendship, but with boundaries. I feel like, I don't know, I don't understand this concept, like you can't be friends with your ex. You cannot be friends with your ex if you still have feelings for them, if you feel like you're gonna cross boundaries. But if you're not gonna do all that, then why not be friends with them? If you guys left on good terms and you guys are ready to see other people, then why can't you just be friends? What's wrong with that? Like, come on, we're adults here.
Well, so and for me, when I say friends, I don't mean like I'm not talking to you every day. Like it's not like you're my bestie or a close friend or anything like that. It's just if I'm in town, I'm like, hey, let's go get dinner. Like there are exes who I can say that to, and they'll show up.
Oh my God. Ishna's getting dinner from exes.
Lunch. And it's not on them. Like, just to be clear.
Y'all go Dutch?
I know people.
Exit.
Listen, man. We are not gonna sit here and fellas. I know. Look, I'm not gonna bullshit with y'all. All right. They want something. We ain't buying lunch for nothing, and you know that. Ishna know that too. She know the triggers. She know that they want some of the yum yum. They want some of the JJ. And she's like,
we pay for our own food.
Right. Exactly.
But one of them's married. I was like, bring your wife. Like, I invite their girlfriends. It really like whatever. Like, I'm a good spirited person. It's stuff ain't that serious to me. Like, hey, you cool? Like, you're a good person. Let's say what's up, and then it's over. Bring whoever you need. Like. I'm just real nonchalant, so I'm not like in my feelings about a lot of stuff.
Facts.
Do you know how sexy that is to him? Where he's just like, "Oh, bring my wife." That's when you be getting him in the heart. She was like,
you know, it's funny. My ex-boyfriend, girlfriend is bisexual, so maybe something is there for him.
There's always. Listen, I have a story that I had that situation happen before where I thought, anyway, let me stop. Anyway, Alan
is not here for you.
Alan, you have anything to say? You think exes can be friends?
I do not have enough experience in the exes department to have a knowledgeable opinion on this.
I can't say the same.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to. You know what? Let's ask when we have next week. This is a good segue to promote. Next week we're gonna be live on Thursday. Next episode on the podcast, we are going to have. It's our Valentine's Day episode, which will be where we'll talk relationships. We want y'all to bring your friends, grab some wine, burn some incense or whatever you got to do. Put some kale in the oven. My man Alan York with the kale in the oven. Do some of that. And we're going to have some of these discussions about relationships. And we're going to talk about whether or not a lunch date with an ex is just a lunch date or if it's just surveillance. That's what I think it is. It's surveillance. It's let me check and see how it should be psychologically stunting on them because she's an intellectual.
To be
psychologically, to be continued. So
for sure.
Let's go. So moving forward, hey, appreciate everybody who's sticking with us on the Soapboxx podcast. Last but not least, we have Mr. Davis being arrested.
Yes, so boxer Gervonta, however you say his name, I really don't care. He turned himself into the police after a video surfaced of him grabbing his baby mama at a celebrity basketball game. So before he took her to a back room, allegedly that's where the assault happened. He grabbed her at this game. Everybody saw it. I mean, it was not hard to miss. He grabbed her and he brought her to this back room. And apparently, according to TMZ, police reports indicate that the video that they have shows Gervonta pulling his arm back and then forward towards his baby mama, which is consistent with a strike to the face where she sustained injuries to her lip and her jaw. Now, he denies ever hitting her, and instead he admits that he was aggressive by grabbing her and telling her to get up, but he denies that he would ever hurt her. Now, honestly, after seeing that video, I don't doubt that he would put his hands on her, because if you are comfortable enough to act like that in person, I mean, in front of people, then God knows what you're doing behind closed doors.
He snatched her up real quick.
Yes.
Yeah, he snatched her real quick. There was someone that posed the question on social media that asked, what responsibility did the men around who were there publicly when that happened, what responsibility do the men have to assist this young lady in her in this situation scuffle with her man? My response is absolutely nothing, and not because I'm heartless, not because a domestic, I'm not a domestic violence awareness advocate. It's because several times, and I'm telling you, if you in these situations, if you're the dude when they're in, we have something called Stockholm syndrome, right? That's where whoever's oppressing you, who's ever beating you, you have love for them and you can't see it. You are literally blinded. They got the wool over your eyes. I've seen several situations, right, where a guy will try to break up a dude from beating up his girl or talking disrespectful to his girl, whatever. And that girl who's being disrespected will jump on the dude who's trying to save him. Because even if you look at in the law, a lot of times these girls don't go and press charges on the dude. They will not cooperate as with the prosecuting witness because they still have love for the dude. So it's an unfortunate situation. Yes, we need to talk more about these types of situations to get victims of domestic violence help. But the obligation in that instance, now if he's on top of her, wailing on her, I feel you have an obligation to be like, yo, break it up, whatever, like, in a group effort. But for you to be, if they're arguing back and forth and stuff like that, for you to jump in the middle of that, or for him snatching her up, unfortunately, the nature of the beast is no. I don't think any man is obligated to jump in the middle of that, and I don't think it makes him less of a man. I think it makes him. You got to be aware, because one, you don't know what that dude has, and he's a boxer, right? So you gonna catch a two-piece from this dude, from a person who's going to come around and go right back with him. And two, you don't know what she got in her purse. So you put yourself in the middle. I also do security. So you go ahead and you put yourself in the middle of that situation, as I've done before, and you don't know what she has pulling in her purse, because all she sees is the love of her life about to be attacked or being restrained by other men. And she wants to help, because she also knows that after this incident, if he gets through with that, and then he gets in contact with her, he may take out those other guys jumping in to save her out on her. You see what I'm saying? Which will put her in a worse predicament. So that's my take.
Report it?
Huh?
Would you report it?
Yeah, officer, he right there.
Like, if you don't want to do something physically, would you still report it? Because I feel, did you watch the video? Because the way he was snatching her up was like he was doing too much.
I did see the video, and I saw the way he snatched her up. But I also don't know the dynamics of their relationship. Not saying that it's wrong, but everybody's relationship is different, and we can't just keep running into burning. Don't run into a burning house if you ain't got no gas mask, you ain't got no suit on. You gonna get burnt the fuck up too. So don't, so yes, officer, I saw the whole thing. I could write a statement. I can point to him in a lineup. That's that man. He did it. But as far as me jumping in the middle for something like that, I've seen people be burnt way too many times, and it's unfortunate, but that's the nature of the beast. Alan, what about you? You jumping in the middle?
I'm not. Well, if anyone has seen the video, you know that jumping in, there is no middle to jump in. So I'm not sure why they posed that question. If you look at the video, you see is Javonte Davis.
Well, intervening into the situation.
There's none of that. There's literally him, and there's two. He's literally in the middle of two bodyguards. So I don't know where anyone thinks they're intervening. is Gervonta Davis and his 2 bodyguards. All 3 of them, like even when he's yoking her up, they're following him and like surrounding him. And then they go to the back. So I don't know where anyone thinks that they're 1, 2. Nobody's thinking that fast enough because you really don't know what's happening. It's easy to process from being all the way in the back and just kind of zooming in and seeing what's going on. But if you're wherever you're at, if you're at a celebrity basketball game, you're minding your business looking at the actual basketball game. So you're not even really going to have the cognitive just focus unless you're just looking at them and celeb watching to even be like, oh snap, something's going to happen. To me, from the video, it just looked like it happened so fast. He yoked her up. Like I said, they're in the middle of 2 bodyguards. So there's already 2 people there, in my eyes, intervening so that it won't escalate. So that's not, I don't think that's necessarily an option. And then, like you said, situations like this don't even necessarily get past the report because especially when you have a dynamic with 2 people who are in a relationship or they love each other, no, they're not really going to go through that. Well, like you said, if it was a situation where authorities came up and they asked what I saw, et cetera, absolutely. But I think it's unrealistic for people to think that anyone in the middle of a celebrity basketball game is jumping over and trying to fend off 2 bodyguards and protect the lady from the boxer or whatever, just because we don't know the extent of where that situation is going, where it stemmed from, what happened or what could happen at the end. You just don't really know anything, and it's just everything is moving so fast. So sure, I mean, if anyone were to intervene in that situation, it would be literally his 2 6'7" bodyguards who are paid and protected to prevent things like that from happening. Now, unfortunately, I did the report about him putting hands on her in the back, but he is a boxer and he is 5'3". So generally, those things lead for short tempers. So I hope that this is not something that is continuous in their relationship. But, tiny man syndrome is tiny man syndrome. And I'm not tall at all. So I can say that, to the
so
short
you think because he's 5'3", he wants his respect? And
for sure.
Oh my God.
And especially when, unfortunately, not only do you have, a situation like that, and you got people who come into a lot of money, and, they feel like they have some sort of one-up, especially for the people in their lives who they may take care of or their finance. And I don't want to put that on him because I don't know their situation, so I'd rather not theorize about some shit like that. But I do think that it was unsettling that he was very quick to just kind of yoke her up. Stuff like that. I say anytime that you see a glimpse of that, these are not one-off instances. So I do hope that it did not escalate. I'm praying for both parties involved. But like I said, it's a little unrealistic to think that you're going to hop over your celebrity all-star game tickets and jump in the middle of 4 people, including 2 linemen, to try to be a hero, because they're going to toss your ass out and then he may punch your nose in. So sister, get some help if you need it.
Sister, get some help.
Yeah. Nah, seriously. I think any man
I'm serious, but I get you.
Yeah, any man who's quick to yoke you up like that is not somebody that you need to be around, period. So
period. And domestic violence victims have to leave. On average, they leave their partner 7 times before they actually really leave. So there's a lot of like, oh, I can't take this, I'm done. But then after that, it's more of, oh, well, he's going to change. I can change him. Oh, he said he's not going to do it again. Oh, he apologized. They blame themselves. Oh, I was out of line. I shouldn't have done that. Also, so that's a back and forth. So yes. So when you say get her some help, I'm definitely not trying to make light of that. She does need some help. I do have a question for Ishna though. Ishna, have you ever encountered any 5'3" aggressive men in your dating history?
I have not. Sometimes I'm a little picky with height because I'm 5'6" and I'm very tall with heels on. So, I've dated one short guy, but he was my height, and he was a sweetheart. But yeah, 5'3", that's too short for me. I wouldn't even do it, to be honest.
I said a 5'3" dude can't be looking up at you, talking shit, telling you what to do.
Yeah, and so like just to Alan's point about the tiny man syndrome, like it's real. And I am so analytical, I would consider that. Like he's probably gonna one day not feel like a man. I'm already tall as a woman. You know, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for your insecurities and the stuff you didn't work out yet. You're not gonna beat me. I have 2 brothers, so it's just not a healthy situation for me to get involved in from the start.
So she stayed with 2 linebackers on deck at all times. Shout out to
That's terrible.
Get you some brothers.
Get you some help. Save
What was
yourself. Like that's not a winning situation for her. Like period. He's a boxer. Then he has people backing him, like probably men who like hide his dirt and all of that as well. So she needs to get out.
Yeah. I definitely agree. And not only her, he needs to get himself some help. He needs to discover or figure out what's going on in his pathway that is making him lash out or feel like that's acceptable, or making him feel like because he's not respected, or the communication is off, or she's exhibited behavior that he feels is disrespecting to him. He needs to clear that out, because a lot of that, it's not anger management with batterers. It's about understanding their pathway, and it's deeply rooted in how they're raised and their value system. So, and it's also, statistics show that women who are domestic violence victims, they actually gravitate towards men like that. These hyper aggressive males who have this false sense of masculinity. Who those guys that, Al, you ever be around? You ever walk in the mall and then you see a girl and she's attractive and she's with her man, and then she look at you, you look at her, and all of a sudden then he grab her hand real tight and be looking at her real crazy. So that's that type of situation.
Yeah. And I'm gonna be honest. I like that though. Like, claim your girl, fam. Just don't. I might grab my girl hand a little tighter if you throwing her some river. You know what I'm saying? Relax. It's me. It ain't got nothing to do with being hyper aggressive, but a little territorial with mine,
Yeah, I used to be real insecure, like back in not as much anymore, but like in the 20s or whatever, I'd be like, them dudes, but honestly, it's stressful to be that overprotective. It's stressful. So advice someone gave to me way back in the not way back in the day, as I grew older, is they taught me you have to love the person you're with. You have to love in a way that your partner feels free, right? So there's nothing that you can do that's going to control them. Because really domestic violence is about power and control. So you're just trying to control that individual, and controlling them and caging them up is never going to make them actually really love you. It's never going to be authentic. So you have to just let it come. And sometimes it's best to just let it go and charge it to the game. If she's doing something, or you feel like, hey, that's disrespectful, she keep doing it, and instead of you trying to put hands on her, you got to just make a decision and just leave. You know what I'm saying? You got to just leave. If it's not working out, just leave. And so that's what I would say, not just for this brother, but to anybody who's going through that situation itself. But as we wrap it up, thank you all for joining us on Soapboxx Nation. We appreciate y'all listening. We have a segment here on the Soapbox as we wrap it up called Moral of the Story, which is our way of wrapping up everything we just talked about, putting a nice little bow in it so that we can take the life lessons out of this podcast. So I'm gonna start with randomly. Let's see, Ish. I'm gonna start with Ish. Ish has been firing off on feeling this today. Ish, what's the moral of the story?
The moral of the story: 1, get out and vote. 2, keep your hands to yourself. Men and women, or to yourselves, men and women. Protect yourself and understand yourself and love yourself. And let the dead rest in peace, okay? Once they're gone, that's it. We're done with that. Their stories. So that's the moral of the story for me.
Go ahead, Jesse. What's the moral of the story?
Moral of the story, Kobe is a legend, period. Second, if you feel pressured at work and they're trying to make you live up to unreasonable expectations, use your voice and speak up. Don't be like our boy Jason De La Cruz, because now he might go to jail, all because he was trying to hide something and he was paying out of pocket to do it. Come on, guy, that's not very smart. Use your voice. A lot of employers have unions. Take advantage of that. They're there to protect you. And other than that, drink your water, mind your motherfucking business, period.
Word. Just ain't throwing shots at me. Talk about if you need help in your employment situation. Nah, I love it. Hey, Alan, what's the moral of the story, kid?
The moral of the story is, as always, remember, mind your business. Don't put your business on us. We do not care. Do not be a part of the clown show. A shout out to all of the young Black millionaires, men and women. Happy Black History Month. And peace and love.
Word. Yes, absolutely. Happy Black History Month. My moral of the story is, okay. Well, first of all, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. We love doing this. We're going to continually do this. We're going to continue to connect with you, Soapboxx Nation. Make sure you subscribe. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. All that good stuff. We're going to continue to bring you content. We're going to continue to, yes, everybody, we're pointing down. Continue to subscribe and follow us and write 5-star reviews. We're going to grow out this media outlet as we talk about hot topics, different topics. Next week, we are going to have the sexiest live podcast, social media thing. We're going to be talking about relationships, sex, intimacy, which brings me to my segue is if your ex tries to come into your life, remember, she is an ex for a reason. I know it gets lonely. I know you get that itch. It may be, your phone may be a little dry, okay? But if she is your ex, that means she either gave you your walking papers or you saw something in her that made you say, whoa, pause, I need to get out of this situation. You got to give up the yummy yum, okay? Stop being mesmerized by the yummy yum and being into these girls' lives, because then when they find someone new and they really cut you off, then you're going to be hurting and dealing with some healing stuff. And if you're 5'3", you might start being overly aggressive. That is the moral of the story today. Thank you all, Soapboxx Nation, for joining us. For Alan York, for Jesse, for Ishna Y'Keal. We are the Soapboxx Podcast, Soapboxx Outlet. Peace. We'll see y'all next week. You heard?
Yes, sir.
Shout out.